The Chicago Blackhawks have just made an absolutely massive roster move. They sent Lukas Reichel down to the AHL Rockford IceHogs in a move that we've been waiting for a seriously long time. And we're going to be also talking about everything the Blackhawks have been doing lately. Everything is just seeming to go right, even though this team is losing. And we're going to talk about that and describe why this is the case in this video. But before we get into all of this, we noticed that 83% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. So if you're looking for a spot to get all your Chicago Blackhawks news as it happens, you're in the right spot. Make sure to hit the sub button, join along to the channel, and hopefully the road to Macklin Celebrini and the first overall pick. But like I said, we have a massive roster move, one that we've been talking about for what seems like at least 2 to 3 months right now. That is Lukas Reichel has been sent down to the AHL Rockford IceHogs, finally. This comes from Ben Pope, as well as Charlie Roumeliotis, per the AHL transaction log. Lukas Reichel, as you can see there, he's been added to the Rockford roster. And first of all, Noah, what do you think about this move? A move we've obviously been waiting for a long time. Wanted to see him regain his confidence down there. And yeah, what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's a long time coming. I mean, you know, we've been I guess ripping him. I don't know if that's the right word to say, but we've been talking about him a lot on this channel. So I think it's for the best for him. You know, obviously we've seen Luke Richardson, you know, kind of move him down, play him everywhere, and this is just the best thing he could do is send him down to the AHL and, you know, regain his confidence. And we need him to be, because he's a big part of this team and this core. So I mean, it is for the best, I think.
Yeah, you know, we've been kind of contemplating whether this is the right move or not, because the AHL does not have the best competition compared to the NHL. He's not playing the best players he possibly can, but it's definitely a good opportunity for him to regain his confidence, go get a few points, because even the coaching staff of this team has said, you know, Lukas Reichel is too good for the AHL. He's an NHL player, just not playing up to his game. But I really do think that this point spree, hopefully to come for Lukas Reichel, is going to be the answer, going to be the option that is the right one for him to come back to the NHL, start scoring again like he was last season. And speaking of last season, I'll pull up his stats from, you know, his career with the Blackhawks. You can see in 23 games, 15 points. He looked like he was on track to be like steady this season, a steady, you know, 60, 70 point getter. But it just hasn't been the case. You can see 50 games and 10 points this season. It's just really not the case. But the AHL one is notable last year. 55 games and 51 points. That is one thing I really want to see Lukas Reichel do again now. Is this go down, get a lot of points, you know, have fun. That's the main thing. Have fun, regain your confidence, because that is one thing that Lukas Reichel has been lacking this year, and it's been noticeable. It's really been noticeable that he always gets down on himself when he hasn't gotten the right bounces, when he hasn't been able to get a nice shot off and whatnot. But I think this is a great opportunity that is bound to happen in the AHL for Lukas Reichel. But
I agree with you.
Yeah, you know, Noah, what do you think that is going to happen with Lukas Reichel in the AHL? Now, obviously, his career has been very short so far. We don't have all of the information of what he's done, you know, trends in the AHL compared to the NHL, but what do you think he's going to do? Do you think he's going to be comparable to last year in the AHL, or do you think he's going to go down and still struggle?
I think, I mean, you know, 100 games is, I guess some people will argue that it's not a big sample size, but I think it's a big sample size. You know, I mean, he's been pretty well point per game in the AHL, and you touched on his like confidence and how, I mean, yeah, point per game. Imagine being point per game in the AHL. Your confidence got to be through the roof, right? I mean, so, you know, let him tear it up in the AHL. Let him, you know, get 20. Well, he's not going to get 20, 30 goals in 50 games. I think there's 20, 25 games left in the AHL, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you have the exact AHL schedule, but
yeah, I predict him to be a point-per-game player, and then maybe he comes up the last 5-10 games, and I think we're going to see a different player completely on the Blackhawks.
Yeah, that's also one thing to mention, is how long this tenure may be down in the AHL. You know, the Blackhawks right now are in no spot to make a push for the playoffs. There's no spot to get everybody going on all cylinders, firing on all cylinders, so I think this could be a lengthy tenure. Like you said, this could possibly be the rest of the season. And I do like the idea of maybe bringing up the last few games if he does begin to play good once again. But the AHL is also a very familiar spot for him. Not in the way that, you know, he's a bad player or anything, but he spent a lot of time in the AHL before coming up to the Blackhawks, and it's going to be a familiar spot for him, which is going to be increasing that, you know, confidence once again, playing in a familiar barn, playing in front of, you know, some teammates, some coaching staff that has been there with him in his development with this team. So I do think it is the best decision that was on the table for Luke Richardson and co. for Lukas Reichel right now, because, you know, this team has been doing everything right, I think this is just another step forward. But Lukas Reichel, obviously, we're hoping he does good, very good once again in the AHL. A big part of this future, so it's going to be an interesting one to see what happens when he goes down there, and we'll be keeping a close eye on it. So make sure to follow along with us to see what Lukas Reichel can do. But speaking of doing everything right, for the Blackhawks, they've been doing it, for the past few days, and everything has been what we're waiting for. Starting off with Lukas Reichel being sent down to the AHL, that's kind of the button on top from what we've seen. But, just speaking of that once again, everybody's coming back from injury. Bedard is coming back. We're starting to see Andreas Athanasiou, all of these guys start skating. Tyler Johnson's back. Petr Mrazek is continuing to stay hot, and even though the Blackhawks are still losing, these are close games, and it's exactly what we want to see for this upcoming draft. We want to see players starting to do good, starting to continue to play good, starting to come back from injury, getting back to what we've seen at the beginning of the season. We knew it was going to be a rough one, but this has been a very bumpy road so far. But, like I said, we're going to start this one off here with Connor Bedard. Obviously, the guy we've been talking about since he came back from injury. He's seen in February. His only sample size so far. 2 games played, 3 points, which should have been 4, but an offside goal was called back in the game against Ottawa. And that really is, along with the Lukas Reichel being sent down, is the button on top of this. But, Noah, what do you think about the Blackhawks, what they've been doing over the past, week or two? Everything seems to be going right. In the right way. Obviously, the losing sucks, but for us fans, knowing that this first overall pick is getting closer and closer, things are looking very good. So what do you think about all this?
I guess I'll state the obvious. I think it was Connor Bedard coming back from injury. I mean, we've seen last night against Ottawa, even though they lost, or they won last night. Never mind, they won. A whole team looks completely different. Like they're almost uplifted, I guess, is the best way of putting it. And I mean, I would be too if it was my best player on my team coming back, and it goes to show the impact Bedard has on the team. So I mean, I think that's the reason why they're I guess not playing better, but playing better as a team, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Like the whole Connor Bedard's line's been playing better. Philipp Kurashev, you can be noticing that. Nick Foligno, that line has been going very, very good. And per natural stat, as you can see here on the bottom, that line generated 17 scoring chances at even strength against the Senators, which, now looking at this Blackhawks team, this is incredible. You couldn't ask for much more, especially with this line and Bedard being back. But, this game wasn't just Bedard. I want to touch on this a bit as well, because this was a very good game by the Blackhawks against the Senators by, just about everybody in this team. One surprising name to see right at the top there, Seth Jones. I do have to say, you got to give him credit where credit is due. Very good game by a lot of unexpected players in this game, but also, just a very good game overall. One player I do want to shout out, a fellow goalie, Petr Mrazek. The guy's been electric all season. 40 saves on 42 shots, a .954, I believe, save percentage against an Ottawa Center team that was also going very, very well that game. But what a game. What a game by everybody on this team. Even the players there you see down who have a few negative on the offensive side, still a very good game from everybody here, and I think it was a very pleasing win to see. But, Noah, obviously, I know you want to touch on Philipp Kurashev, a player that I've been liking very much this season, especially since Connor Bedard's been back, but even in his absence. What do you think about Kurashev this season? Like, a guy who didn't start the season due to injury, but has definitely shown that he's been back and is ready to play on this team for the future.
Another guy that's part of this core, obviously, he's kind of having a little bit of a under the radar season. And I don't know, I wasn't really totally tuned in on him, but he has like 33 or 34 points. I mean, this year, like that, the Blackhawks need that. I mean, obviously the focus is on Bedard, and obviously Lukas Reichel was a big focus, but all the credit to Philipp Kurashev for coming through, and he's having a really, really good year.
No, he is, yeah. He's one of the underrated players in the NHL as well. It's not a guy that you hear his name every day. It's not someone that, is in the headlines every day, but he's a sneaky good player, especially for the Blackhawks. And like you said, that's what they need. They need players who are going to step up every day, and playing with Connor Bedard especially, that's just helping his case for this future of the Blackhawks team. But obviously a big news day today, the big one being Lukas Reichel. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you excited? Are you curious? Are you cautious? We want to know, because this is the biggest move I think the Blackhawks have made all season, apart from putting Connor Bedard on the IR. But, that's all we got. Make sure to give the video a like if you haven't already, and hit the sub button. Macklin Celebrini, even though that was a win the other day, is getting a lot closer, so hit the sub button if you haven't already. Join us along the road to hopefully the first overall pick. But that's all we got. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.